Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Hello world, we're live from the SeekNet office here in New Mexico, and we're starting something new here at SeekNet, which is doing regular live broadcasts. And the idea is to do these happened very spontaneously, and we've picked some various things to talk about, and we want to hear what you have to say too. So if you're watching our stream, start by letting us know where you are and say hello. And we're going to talk this week about the environment, because this year the SeekNet Film Festival theme is on the environment and what we all can do for Mother Earth. So here in the SeekNet office is the whole SeekNet team. Myself, Guru Ka Singh and Ekon Karkar, Harijot Singh, Mr. SeekNet, Guru Mastik Singh, and behind the camera is Gurjot, and he may be coming out from behind the camera to join us in a little bit. So say hi to us and let us know where you're from in the chat, and we'll dive right into this week's topic.
So every year that we pick a theme for the SeekNet Film Festival, we wanted to make it relevant to the worldwide Sikh community. And pollution is becoming a big issue all over the world, but especially in some of the most sacred cities in India. And so we wanted to focus the theme of the film festival this year on Mata Dharat, on Mother Earth, and on the environment. And we thought we would get together today and just kind of have a roundtable conversation about the environment. Like, why is it important? Why are we wanting to talk about these issues? So, the first thing we wanted to say was, as time goes on and we have more industrialization in more countries, what we're seeing is that while the standard of living as defined by things, right, gets bigger, I have a car now, I have a phone now, I have this now, I have that now, the quality of life as defined by the environment that we live in is degrading. The water is getting polluted, the air is getting polluted, the land is being exhausted. And so how do we as a society start to shift into a mode where we enjoy technology and its benefits, but not at the cost of the earth? Harijot, you have thoughts to say?
Yeah, so again, anybody who's just joining, this is the theme for the SeekNet Film Festival, Youth Online Film Festival this year is Mata Dharat, Mother Earth, and so we're talking about the environment. And some of the things that are going on in the Punjab right now are very concerning, especially the water table is decreasing at an incredible rate. I've heard some projections that the Punjab could be a desert like Rajasthan in 25 years. So that means in my lifetime, hopefully in my lifetime, well, not that it will hopefully happen, but hopefully I'll still be alive. 25 years is not a very long time to turn into a desert region. And the Punjab has till now been the breadbasket of India. So that's a huge, huge concern. And then like Ikonkar mentioned, that many Indian cities are on the top polluted list of the planet Earth. It's all China and largely India as being the largest polluted cities in the world. Patna Sahib is in the top 5, which is very surprising to me when I heard that. And Amritsar is number 14, which means it's very, very polluted. I went there a year and a half ago. I went to high school in India, so I spent a lot of time there. And we have a school on the outskirts in Cherta Sahib. And when I visited in December 2014, I was looking at the sky around sunset time, and there was this dazzling red color that just kind of took over the whole half of the sky. And I said, hey, is there a fog here? Is there some special conditions? Is this the weather? They said, no. The sky is totally clear. That's the general fog of smog at all times. And it wasn't just like, if you're in the foothills of some place like in California, you'll see a smog over the city of LA. This was like smog covering the entire sky, even though we're on the outskirts of the city. So I was pretty blown away by how much more polluted it was than 10 years prior.
And Guru Master Singh, you were just there in spring of this year, and I remember when you came back, you were pretty amazed at the changes that had happened since you'd last been there.
Yeah, I think it was it was a bit shocking kind of when I went there. It's been probably like about 5 years since I'd been to India, and the level of pollution that was there was really kind of had jumped exponentially, and it was really sad to see. And you know, when we were at the school there, I was visiting my son. They had like there was this huge smoke that was just coming in, and this was like nearby somebody who was burning a huge trash pile, and it was just burning this trash, and it was so bad. And I mean, you know, these are all different things that are going on, as well as like the development in the roads, where just people are just trying to get by. Now that there's more and more cars on the streets, more and more development is having to happen, and it's creating all this dust and pollution. And before, it used to be when you went to India, if you were not from India, you would get potentially sick in other ways, like dysentery or other stomach kind of things. Nowadays, it's all like lungs,
loose motions.
you know, you get, you know, various things. But I felt sad for the people who live in that environment every day, and the worker, the person who doesn't have the means to get out of that and have, you know, clean environments. And you know, those of us who live in the West, like America and other countries where, you know, even though there are issues with environment here as well, they're nowhere close to how things are. So I just want to ask you, if, you know, all of you who are online, you know, let us know, you know, please let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear, are you from India? Are you from outside of India and other places? And feel free to let us know or tell us anything about some of your experiences in regards to the environment in your area and some of the challenges. And we're bringing these topics up for discussion because this year the theme of the SIGNET Youth Online Film Festival is Mata Dharata, Mother Earth. And the whole idea is to bring dialogue and discussion and education and focus so that we as a community, the Sikh community particularly, and globally, can start be thinking about the types of things that are going on and some of the solutions and things that each of us can do individually, as well as take leadership roles to help create changes in your local areas. So,
you know, to kind of go into this topic, I mean, there's a you know, where there's a problem, there's also a blessing. So with Amritsar being the 14th polluted city in the world, it also becomes a place where a revolution can happen, where a big change can happen. It's not realistic for the pollution to just keep growing and growing and growing. It's an unsustainable situation. And so when we look at, you know, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Guru's approach around the environment before we talk about practical solutions. And we're all familiar with the arti, and a lot of people think about the arti as, okay, so Guru Nanak was standing up to the ritualism, you know, to the ritualism of the, you know, Hindu priests and the temples. But there's another way to look at the arti, which is that it's actually, you know, Guru Nanak is saying you've got to pay attention to what's around you and have reverence for what's around you, because you are living within this beautiful creative play, and to have such a deep love for it and a deep reverence for it. So I wanted to...
And before you read it,
yeah.
you know, I think that part of why this is happening, and it's not something that has just happened, you know. I mean, you look at 200 years ago in London during the Industrial Revolution, you know, it was coal dust everywhere. And I mean, these are changes that have been happening for a long time. And even at that time, you know, William Wordsworth, the poet, wrote, getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. So these thoughts have been around for a long, long time. And it's a state of mind. It's a state of mind that we don't feel part of the earth, and the earth doesn't feel part of us. We feel separate. We feel that we're the masters of the environment and it's here to serve us. And the beauty, when you read the arti, you know, it's so full of delight and ecstasy and love, and you feel the oneness with nature. Not that these things are here for you to exploit, but that it's all part of you, that the same water that flows in the river and the ocean flows in your veins. So that sense of separation from the earth isn't in the Arti. The Arti is that it's all God. Every rock, every creature, every plant, every human, everything.
So I'm grateful to share this translation that I was blessed to write of the Arti. And we reworked the first paragraph a little bit, so it'll be slightly different than what shows up on your screen. The sky is the sacred altar, with sun and moon the lamps. The stars shine like pearls in the heavens. Sandalwood forests emit their perfume, and the wind acts as the whisk, while the entire forest blossoms in honor of thy divine light. They worship thee who breaks the cycle of time. The soundless sound, which is the source of wisdom, you cause it to play like a thunderous drum. Pay attention. Thousands are your eyes, yet you have no eyes. Thousands are your forms, yet no one form is yours. Thousands are your pure, clean feet, yet you have not even one foot. You have no nose, yet thousands are your noses. This is the way we become enchanted by your marvels. Everything contains thy divine light. That divine light alone exists. Those who belong to the light experience the light in all things. Through the instructions of the teacher, the light becomes manifest. What pleases you becomes your worship. I deeply desire the nectar from the lotus feet of the Creative One. Day and night, constantly, I crave this. Please give this peacock Nanak the water of your kindness. Then he shall dwell in thy divine identity. So one thing I love about what the Arti is saying is that everything in creation is worshiping the divine, the light of the divine. And what would happen if we started to cultivate that in our own sight? Not just to do the Arti as part in Kirat Soila because we go to bed at night, but to really walk around and see there is a flower, it's worshiping the divine. There's a tree, it's worshiping the divine. There's a duck, it's worshiping that everything in creation is in a state of worship. And if we see everything in creation as a state of worship, how could we possibly harm that which is worshiping God? And that this is a consciousness that as Sikhs, we have a duty, I believe, to enter into, because the world is run away by greed. And the greed, it's not that technology is destroying the environment, it's that greed is destroying the environment. And the consciousness of worshiping and seeing everything as a worship and having that reverence will cause us to think differently, and that thinking will cause us to act differently. And it's in the thinking and the action that the environment can heal through our conscious respect and nurturing of it, rather than seeing it as something that we take from to satisfy our desires or to satisfy, something temporary in ourselves or to exploit.
And I just wanted to add something in that same sentiment about the duty of the Sikhs, and that's that when you look at the big picture, basically the Gurus came here to save the planet Earth. They came here to bring Dharma and get rid of oppressors. And this day and age, there's plenty of corruption, there's plenty of dark things that need to be gotten rid of. And this is part of our warrior path to help the planet Earth. And if you look at the Gurus, the warrior path actually started it was always there in essence, but officially with Guru Hargobind. And Guru Har Rai was the next Guru who himself had an army, himself was trained in swordplay and arrows and warfare. And so he was a warrior Guru, and yet he's very famous for being the one who planted trees, and he planted fruit trees everywhere, and he encouraged people to get more in touch with the environment. There's much more flowers in his garden. And he really is an environmental Guru. And so it is absolutely part of the Sikh tradition, in the essence of a warrior, that this is our offense. Our offense is to cut the problems before they start. And even Though battles had started with the powers that be in the time of Guru Hargobind, 6th Guru, and didn't stop till many years after the 10th Guru, there was this pocket of time with Guru Har Rai. It is a time of war, and during that time of war, he was planting trees and encouraging environmental awareness and kindness to animals. So this is absolutely part of the Sikh tradition, and this is part of our warrior path, and this is our offensive techniques. That's mostly what I want to say there, yeah.
I see that some of you in the comments here during the live broadcast are mentioning things that you're doing personally, because you've obviously thought about these things too. And because we've been thinking about them here at SikhNet this year, that's why we picked this topic for the film festival. We thought, what can we do here at SikhNet? I mean, there are things we all do in our personal lives. I think Gurmustic was telling me yesterday that he composts for the garden and recycles everything that's recyclable from his house. And, you know, we do the same thing at our house. But thinking globally, we thought, you know, there's a certain number of people who are very committed to that path of greed that you talked about. And there are some people who are kind of waking up and feeling Mother Earth in them and feeling one with it and wanting to do something about it. And, you know, my prayer is that you might be moved to make a video this year and submit it to the SikhNet Film Festival, a video that will help wake up and inspire others to do something in their own communities. And it could be a video about something that's happening around you, about something that somebody in your community is doing or that you're doing. But we've had such beautiful films over the past couple of years. You know, the film festival's been going on, is this what, our 12th, 11th? 11th year, right? So it's been a long time anyway. And, you know, recently we've received more and more films that our people have put so much work into. It's not too late. This is third week of July, nearly the end of July. And there's over a month left. So your film doesn't have to be, you know, a professional production. The important thing is that you put your heart into it and share your creativity with everyone. So if you haven't heard about the film festival or haven't seen some of the films, go to sikhnet.com/filmfestival and take a look at some of the previous year's films. And I would love to see a film that you made this year.
So just wanted to welcome Harpreet Kaur from California, and we have Raman Kalai from Seattle, and there's also a few others from various places who mentioned here on the screen, and Jasveen Thomas from London. Give us a shout out, and the rest of you, where you guys are from. And I also wanted to ask, how many of you have been part of the film festival? If you've watched any of the films or seen some of the things, maybe just type yes, and I'd love to see if some of you guys have you know, participated or watched some of the films. And I'd also be curious if any of you have considered or maybe are thinking about making a film, because you know, oftentimes we think, oh, somebody else will do something, but really the power of media and about creating change and about sharing your ideas and vision and things is what really creates change in other people around. And that's really the purpose of the film festival, is not really to, you know, create a bunch of documentaries and you know, just, you know, entertainment film. It's really about sharing views and ways of thinking so that you can open people's minds, change the way that they think, and get people to have hope or think about something that's different. So let's just taking a look here.
Let me talk a
yeah,
little
go
for
ahead.
1 second. I also want to just talk about our partners for the film festival this year. EcoSeek is partnering with SikhNet on our SikhNet Youth Online Film Festival. And we haven't defined it yet, but we're hoping to come up with a really cool environmental project within India connected to one of the Gurdwaras that people can donate to during the film festival. We haven't finalized details. It's not for sure yet, but we're working with them on not just having the films come out during the film festival, but also having a chance for you to participate in an environmental project within India. And then Charity Kalat Time TV is also partnering with us. They're helping to get the word out. They're going to promote the film festival. They're going to air the winners of the film festival on their channel. So those are some wonderful partners we want to thank and appreciate who are working with the film festival this year. But let's get back to the subject of solutions, yeah?
Yeah, so there is inventions and innovations and ideas that are available in the world. That's part of why we were talking about the Arti and the meditation behind our intentions here. And if you think about it, Guru Nanak always meditated in nature. And there's one anecdote that I was just remembering, that Guru Tegh Bahadur was traveling around and he went to a particular forest and he really loved to meditate in that forest. And I thought, I wonder how many of us go into the environment and try to find which forest is the most preferable for meditation. That's also part of our tradition, that our meditation is part of nature. And the reason we're talking about that is because there are solutions. The solutions are available. The technology is available for humanity to solve all of our problems that we have. It's our collective consciousness that needs to be altered, and that's why we want to do a film festival. We want to raise the awareness. So as far as solutions go, here's a couple of solutions that we came across. One is I found particularly fascinating, that a Dutch architect and inventor created something called the smog-free tower. And smog-free tower is a 23-foot tall tower that sucks in air and collects all the carbon, and then can even turn it into little carbon. It turns into carbon dust, but because pollution is mostly carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, and so it sucks in basically the bad air, puts out the clean air, and then what you're left with is something you could even turn into a diamond. And so they're in negotiations with Beijing and China, and they're going to try to expand to different Chinese cities. And then when that goes well, they're looking to expand towards India. And so his Kickstarter, he tried to raise $50,000, and he raised $100,000+ because there was so much enthusiasm for the idea. And it's genius to take dirty air, put out clean air, and then what you get is a diamond. It's unbelievable. And so he wants to expand India after that. And I thought, oh my God, why don't we start with the Punjab? We have the power to influence this. If he can do a Kickstarter campaign and get it going in China, maybe we can do something similar. What other ideas do we have here? A very encouraging thing happened in India very recently was in Uttar Pradesh. They just planted almost 50 million trees. And 50 million is a number, it's just a number for me, because I can't imagine how much space it would take to occupy 50 million trees. It's actually 49.3 million, but basically 50. And that's just incredible. And I found out that's actually part of India's agreement with the Paris Accords for climate reduction, and they have set aside, $6 billion to reforest 12% of India. So that's another huge thing, and I don't know what's in the works, but I would hope that the Punjab receives some of this effort, and Uttar Pradesh just set the Guinness Book of World Records for most trees planted in a 24-hour period, which is 49,000. By the way, there was 800,000 volunteers. In 24 hours, it's incredible. I would imagine that the Punjab could match that, if not do better, and set another world record. And so that would be another tremendous thing that could happen. And just things about weight. A lot of the problem in India is that there isn't as much of a proper garbage disposal or waste management system. But in the end of the day, waste is waste, and plastic is plastic, and it ends up in the ocean or it ends up in the environment somehow or the other. So there's one inventor from Hyderabad. His name is Narayan Pisapate, and he invented eatable spoons. So instead of having your plastic disposable spoons, which you can find in many restaurants and stuff, he has spoons that are made out of millet and rice and grains, and you can use the spoon to eat, and then you can eat the spoon afterwards. So that's just incredible. We can get rid of plastic spoons, and the only thing that we need is more demand. And he even claimed that he could get the cost of his edible spoons to be competitive with plastic. He could match the cost of plastic spoons. So this is incredible. The technology is available. It's a matter of our will, it's a matter of our awareness, it's a matter of our collective mind to be there ready to receive these solutions. We have some more ideas coming to us from Gurjot Singh is going to give an idea as well.
So the way I see it is that pollution is caused, the ozone problem and the problem with the greenhouse gas effect is caused by carbon, right? And so the two biggest causes of carbon, as far as I know, and forgive me if I'm incorrect in this, is methane from livestock and pollution from vehicles. So as Sikhs, we're vegetarian. I mean, for the most part, some people will disagree with that, but I think majority of Sikhs will agree we're vegetarian. So if you're not eating beef, you're already doing half of what you can possibly do to save the environment. The amount of water that it takes to raise livestock, the amount of the Amazon they're cutting down to raise livestock, and the amount of gases expelled by those animals. It's really to not be a vegetarian is to be actively destroying the environment, as well as, so that's one thing. So we don't really have to worry about that as Sikhs for the most part. The other thing that we can work on though is the vehicles. You know, everyone drives a car. Everyone drives in India. It's about scooters, all these individual personal vehicles, and that's where I see the biggest potential for change. And it's kind of like you can't just stop driving, you know, for the most part, wherever you live. But what I would like to see is Sikhs taking an active role in getting clean energy and getting electric vehicles. And I hope someone makes a film about this for the film festival, because I think that would be amazing if the Punjab took that on and said, we're going to set up some solar towers, we're going to get clean electric energy, and then we're going to make incentives for the electric vehicles. Imagine if you went to Amritsar and you had all those thousands of scooters and thousands of rickshaws and cars, and they're all electric. You know, that would just reverse the whole problem. And if the Punjab could take that on, and because it's everything that we do, we can recycle, we can do all this stuff. I could go buy a Prius or whatever, and it's all these little changes. They're good, and it's good to be a part of that mentality. But ultimately, we need systems to change. We need on a government level. We need on a big scale to make an a big difference, an impactful difference, and we need it immediately. Like the environment's an emergency. So when it gets to government, that's when people give up, because it's always so corrupt. It's so hard to make changes. It's so slow. But that's what I see in India, is that people are very active. We can get the Indian youth to get out there and make a movement and make changes. In the West, we're a little more comfortable, so it's harder to get people to rally for things until they're really important to them. But I would love to see a film that is not just educational, but it's also like starting a movement to make big systematic changes on a governmental level to start using electric vehicles in the Punjab. So that's my prayer. That's my hope and wish for the Punjab.
You know, we're going to wrap up our broadcast today, but I just wanted to say, you know, we've been talking about what appears to be kind of a bleak picture, even though we've been talking about some things that can be done about it. But, you know, I don't want you to go away from this video broadcast feeling that you're powerless. Or, you know, it's all too big, the politicians, the moneymakers control everything. Actually, you know, we have as much control as we together share to change the course and destiny. So my request is just that whatever thought you have, it doesn't matter whether you're 10 years old or 100 years old, you know, that you can inspire others from your personal experience and from some insight that's touched you to take the time to make a film for the film festival. It doesn't have to be a long film. It can be a short film, just a few minutes. But I think, what's our maximum time limit, like half an hour?
minutes.
12 minutes is the
20.
longest film?
20.
25 minutes. Okay, so 25 minutes or less, tell your story and send us your video.
And if you want to get some interesting ideas too, I highly recommend a website called Bioneers.org. And it's a fascinating group of thinkers who...
Wait a minute, it's Bioneers, BIONEERS.
Yes.
.org.
Yes.
Okay.
BIONEERS.org. Bioneers.org. And it's like this. We know that when we abuse our body, we get sick. If we eat the wrong foods, if we don't exercise, you know, it creates a negative impact. But the body has a tremendous ability to heal itself if you just give it what it needs. In fact, we were made to be healthy. We're made to heal, and we're made to grow. And the earth is a living system, and it operates by the same rules. If we abuse the earth, it starts to degrade. But it has the ability to actually mega heal itself if we're treating it properly. And the Bioneers are dedicated to studying the earth from the sense of how to create and activate its own ability to heal itself. And the more we become aware of these things, the more we can support the earth in her own ability to heal. And then, Honey Joe, you wanted to talk about hemp.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to give one more idea, and that's that one thing that I think is a tremendous idea that could really do a lot to help the Punjab is if there was a hemp industry that was created there. And because one of the big things about the Punjab right now is that the demand for farmers is to grow a lot of rice, and the rice is being shipped to other places, and it takes a ton of water to grow rice. You have to flood the fields with water, and you have to tap into the wells deeper and deeper because of the high demand of water. Well, rice is not native to the Punjab, and so we're way over tapping our ability to get water out of the ground for a product and for a plant that's not native to the area so that we can export it to other people. Why? Because of the profit margin is there. There's a demand for rice. I would hope that we can somehow create a better industry for hemp, because hemp is native to the area. You can see it growing everywhere, and there's very low demand for water. So we can definitely help save the water table by planting hemp. There's very little demand from the soil from hemp, and it can be produced into many different things. In the past, hemp was even used for sails on sail ships. It was used for car bumpers. The original car bumpers were made out of hemp. Hemp can make rope. Hemp can make clothes. Hemp can make paper. We don't have to cut down trees for paper. We can use hemp, and all you have to do is take the hemp fibers and put them into the factory where they produce paper, and you don't have to use the wood chips which they normally use. And so imagine if we were saving trees by not cutting them down, instead using this plant that grows really like a weed in India, and it can be reproduced. I mean, the amount of time it takes to regrow a tree that has been cut down to make paper is way disproportionate to how much time it takes to grow some hemp, harvest it, grow it again, and harvest it, grow it again. It's just not even a comparison. So it makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways. And because it's a native plant to the area, my dream would be if the Punjab would become a powerhouse producer of hemp. And I know it has kind of it has a negative connotation because of marijuana, and it's used for bong and all that kind of stuff. And I can say, I've never smoked marijuana, I've never used any of that kind of stuff, but I'm a big proponent of hemp, and it really can save the Punjab. It can save the water, it can save the soil, and it can bring great industry and prosperity. and economic growth. So if somebody made a film about that, I also would not be at all disappointed in the prospects of having
Yeah.
the Punjab.
Well, we want to all thank you, for everybody here on the SeekNet team, for coming into our SeekNet office and being with us today. And we're going to make this a regular thing. So if you are around next week, we're going to pick this up with a new topic next week. And I don't know what it is yet. We have a bunch of them we've been talking about, but tune in and be surprised.
So from all of us here in Espanola, New Mexico, USA, thanks for watching and have a great day.
Why
Why did you call Why did you keep